Before the dawn of history, in a realm of perfect life, the story began in the heart of the Garden of Eden, a legacy forgotten by time, yet woven into the very fabric of our reality. Seen only by those who truly look, but an ancient shadow has awakened. The great dragon descends, seeking to claim the world for the darkness. From the abyss, legions of darkness rise, a swarm of shadows intending to consume everything in their path. In the darkest hour, a divine light pierces the void. The king stands as a beacon against the encroaching storm, though hidden from human eyes. The battle for the soul of our world is unfolding right now, in the places we least expect. The celestial host takes flight, swords of pure light crashing against the void to protect the innocent. It is an unseen war between the eternal and the damned. A clash of divine power and demonic fury. Every strike echoes through eternity to struggle for. Hermes has reached its breaking point. Unseen war, light versus darkness. The epic saga of Season 1 is now unfolding. Where you stand with the light. Season 1 is now available for the journey to begin.
In a world that never stops screaming, it is easy to feel completely silent and forgotten. Eden was 16, living a life that looked vibrant on the outside, but felt hollow within. The music and the laughter were just noise, masking a deeper ache she couldn't explain. At home, the silence was even louder, broken only by the echoes of a family drifting apart. She watched the fragments of her world shatter, wondering if anyone truly saw her pain. I see you, Eden. I see the heart behind the shadows and the hope you're afraid to hold onto. The world offers temporary escapes, but I offer a peace that transcends all the chaos around you. You are not lost, and you are never alone. Step out of the darkness and into my light. Sometimes life feels like a series of unanswered questions. What am I even doing with my life? As the world fades, the veil between reality and the unknown begins to tear open. In a desolate land, a terrified woman in ancient robes runs for her life, fleeing an ancient shadow. A massive shadow dragon rises from the abyss, its eyes burning like embers in the dark. Heavens collide as light meets dark in an epic battle for the soul of the world. Eden stands frozen, caught in the crossfire of a spiritual war she never knew existed. As the dragon's fire rushes toward her, a silhouette of pure radiance steps forward. Do not be afraid. I am the light that the darkness can never overcome. In this moment, the darkness has no choice but to recoil and vanish. The shadows break apart, shattered by a power far greater than any fear. Wake up, Eden. You were created for so much more than this. The silence of the room returns, but for the first time, I am truly awake. In the quiet corners of our lives, there is often a silence that speaks louder than words. My home felt like a world of shadows. My parents sat just feet away, yet they were drifting in a sea of disconnect. I could feel the weight of things left unsaid, but deep within me, a shift was beginning. A small spark of clarity started to pierce through the fog of my everyday life. I stepped out into the city, where the noise usually drowned out my thoughts. But today, the world felt different, almost hushed. I found myself stopping at a small shop window. Among the forgotten relics of the past, one book seemed to call my name. Stepping inside was like entering a sanctuary. The air was thick with the scent of old paper and a peace I couldn't explain. My hands trembled as I reached for it. As I opened the pages, I felt as though I was finally waking up from a long sleep. Truth has a way of finding you when you are ready to listen. It is the light that reveals the path through the dark. I spent nights immersed in these ancient words. The deeper I went, the more the world around me began to reveal its true nature. My phone buzzed with distractions, messages from a life I no longer recognized. But for the first time, I chose to ignore the noise. Then, the veil truly lifted. I saw that we are never alone. Behind every corner, a battle is raging between the light and the dark. I saw flickers of brilliance around strangers. Spiritual war fought in the hearts of men. The world was alive with an invisible energy. Do not fear the darkness, for the light of the world has already overcome it. Stand firm in your faith, and you shall see. I am Eden. My eyes are open, and I am no longer afraid. The war is real, but the victory is certain. In the quiet moments of a shifting heart, a battle begins. Eden is no longer who she was. The weight of the world still pulls at her home. Anger and stress fill the morning air. But peace has a way of silencing the storm. Eden stands firm, a new light within her. Her family sees it. The change is undeniable, yet the true conflict lies in the unseen. As the word takes root, the darkness that once lingered in the corners starts to recoil. Be not afraid, for the light that is in you is greater than the shadows that surround you. In the midnight hour, prayer becomes her weapon. The enemy watches, waiting for a moment of weakness, but faith is a shield. When the shadows emerge, the radiance of truth drives them back. Looking over the world, she makes her choice. There is no turning back now. The war is intensifying, but Eden is ready. She is a beacon in the night, standing for the light. The air in our home was thick, heavy with words, unspoken, and wounds that wouldn't heal. It felt like a weight pressing down on us. Every argument was just a symptom of a deeper disconnect. A spiritual isolation that had turned my family into strangers living under one roof. I used to hide from the noise, but something changed. I started to see the shadows for what they really were. I stepped into the light of the kitchen and spoke. "It doesn't have to be like this," I said. My voice sounded different, stronger. The tension broke. For a moment, the heavy atmosphere lifted, replaced by a confusion that was better than the anger. My mother looked at me as if seeing me for the first time. She saw the peace I carried, a peace that wasn't of this world. Midnight arrived, and with it, the weight of the city's darkness. I knelt by my bed, ready to face whatever was lurking in the shadows. I prayed for my family, for my city, and for the courage to stand firm. I could feel the atmosphere growing cold and hostile. Shadowy figures emerged from the gloom, creeping toward me like a rising tide of despair. They wanted to silence the prayer, but I wasn't afraid. I felt a heat rising within me, a fire that wasn't my own. It was the shield of faith. A radiant glow erupted, forming a brilliant protective barrier. The shadows shrieked in silence as they were pushed back into the void. The darkness couldn't touch me. The light was a fortress, and I was safe within the presence of the divine. I stood up, no longer just a girl in a navy sweater. I was a guardian. The city lights below masked a greater conflict. I could see the flickers of hope and the heavy clouds of spiritual oppression. I looked out over the skyline, and I made my choice. I wouldn't let the darkness take this city without a fight. I'm not going back, I whispered to the night. The war is here, and I am ready to serve. The world was changing, or perhaps I was finally seeing it as it truly was. Every street was a front line, every soul a victory. The war is intensifying, but remember, you are never alone. You are a beacon in the night, Eden. Your faith is your shield, and your love is your sword. Carry the light into the darkest corners, for the victory is already written. Go now with courage. The world awaits the awakening of those who see the unseen. Be the light you were meant to be. Life can feel heavy, lost in a blur of pain and noise. In a world cluttered by shadows and struggle, it is easy to feel invisible. When self-doubt clouds our path and the weight of the world seems too much to bear, we search desperately for any glimmer of hope. Fear not, for I am with you always. Even in the deepest silence, you are seen, you are known, and you are loved beyond measure. But faith is tested most when those we love face their darkest hours, lying in the quiet valley of shadow and uncertainty. The power of faith can move mountains and heal the broken. Open your heart to the impossible, for miracles are born from unwavering belief. With a heart set on fire by divine promise, Eden stood at the threshold, praying with an intensity that seemed to make the very air vibrate. And then, the miracle. A flicker of life, a breath of grace, the power of heaven touching earth, as eyes long closed finally opened to the light. A shared vision, a bond renewed. They realized then that their souls were woven together by a thread of grace that never breaks. Believe with all your heart. For in faith, the world is transformed, shadows flee, and hope is born anew for all who dare to believe. In a world where shadows often hide the broken, a young girl named Eden saw what others ignored. Lucas lived in the margins, his body worn and his spirit shattered by a life he couldn't mend. But faith has a way of finding the lost. One evening, a melody began to rise, a song of hope. In that divine moment, the light of Christ appeared. His radiance didn't just illuminate the room, it ignited the soul. Lucas realized that his scars were not his end, but a testimony in the making. Today, his music tells a new story of transformation and unyielding purpose. For no matter how far you've fallen, grace can lift you up. Your purpose is waiting. Welcome to a night where the impossible becomes reality and where faith moves mountains before our very eyes. Tonight, under this glowing dusk sky, thousands have gathered to witness a transformative power that defies explanation.
Shadows move in the
begins
dead
to
of
sing,
night.
her voice carrying a spiritual fire
A battle
that
for the
ignites
soul out
hope
of
in
human
every heart present.
sight.
Beside her
We aren't
stands
fighting
Lucas, a living
flesh
miracle,
nor blood.
standing tall and strong,
Standing
his
in the
voice
gap,
joining hers
rising
in
through
a powerful
the
harmonic testimony. In the crowd, the extraordinary begins to happen.
Cold stone idols and
A woman drops
celebrity
her cane,
thrones.
taking her first steady,
You're
independent steps
creating gods
in
out of
years.
pixels and
The energy
bones.
is electric.
There's a living
Hands reach
God who
toward the
hears
heavens
your
as tears of joy
cry.
stream down
Seek
faces,
the world's glory
illuminated
is to
by the stage
chase
glow.
a light.
This is more than a performance.
Can you
It is
feel the tension in the room?
a moment where the
The
touch of
atmosphere
grace
is thin beneath the
A young
shadows
man
where they
clutches his chest, feeling a sudden radiant relief as the pain
places
of
you
his
don't
past
know.
simply vanishes.
The curtains being drawn.
Eden lifts her microphone
Let the
high,
light filter
her eyes clear and unwavering. She declares, "Nothing is impossible for those who believe."
in.
Luca steps to the edge of the stage, sharing his journey from brokenness to full restoration with a hushed, captivated audience. Carry this miracle in your heart tonight. The light of revival is within you, and it will never fade. As the music reaches an epic climax, we celebrate the transformed lives and the enduring power of faith.
Urged forward, their hearts ignited by a holy calling to serve in the Master's house. As they took up the instruments, the air exploded with divine energy. A new foundation of praise was built. Then a grieving father emerged from the shadows, carrying the limp body of his child in a desperate act of faith. Eden began to sing a song of spiritual warfare.
Truth as my shield
Above
and His
them,
word as
a
my
battle of light and
sword.
darkness commenced.
We're breaking
In
the
that sacred
chains
moment,
in
the impossible
name of
happened.
the Lord.
The child's hand
No
moved, and life
surrendering,
returned
no
where
more
death had reigned.
retreat.
The father fell to his knees in pure
Serpent
joy.
crushed beneath
Tears
our
of
feet.
sorrow were transformed into shouts of
The
victory.
trumpet is sounding, the light has
The
been
crusade erupted into a celebration of the miraculous. For God's light always triumphs over the night. Miracles still happen. Victory at last. Believe in the power that restores all things.